Hi, Sean O'Rourke here with another week of stacking manga. I came up with the name almost immediately after I did the video last week. Now, my thought process with this show is to kind of, by the end of the year, have a comparison of how well each of these series did for me personally. And last week, just gonna rattle off the quick version of how we did ranking wise. I guess I shouldn't say last week, from 8-10. I put the video out last week, but technically it would have been from the week of the 10th, is when all this stuff kind of came out. At number 6 was Chainsaw Man. 5 was My Hero Academia. Number 4 was Black Clover. 3 was Dr. Stone. Number 2, One Piece. And number 1 that week, of course, was the the never-ending greatness that is Attack on Titan. This week, no Attack on Titan. It's a monthly comic, and I kind of joked about it in the previous stacking manga video that it's probably going to get that number 1 slot each time it appears, but maybe I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch, if that's even the appropriate idiom for what I'm trying to say. Also messing with my setup a little bit here, height levels and everything. I got a new chair, working on getting a couple other little things that I've been doing this for a few weeks now. But still pretty much going low budget up to this point. So hope you guys will be noticing the differences as this goes on. With that said, let's go into this week's countdown or ranking, however you want to look at this. So coming in at number 5 this week is Black Clover. Black Clover chapter 261, Shadows of the Night. This was a very good chapter. In fact, I think I gave it a 9 out of 10, but there was a lot of good stuff this week. I think there wasn't a bad chapter to behold. The main thing in this chapter was we finally met the vice captain of the Black Bulls. Again, I had never really come to that conclusion. For whatever reason, that just never occurred to me. And then I had said this in that particular video, my 261 review, reaction and review, that I read other people online were throwing this idea out there. And so I guess I got on the bandwagon at the right moment, because boom, this chapter we got that with Noct, who is has some kind of devil powers. We saw the horn grow out of the head. We see like these shadow hands come down and pin Asta to the ground, and some kind of imp, whether that's magic or one of those creatures like salamander or Bell that has the forest spirit. I wonder if we're going to find that out immediately next chapter, or if we're going to have to wait a little bit. But that's got my mind spinning a little bit. Now, are his powers darkness-based like Yami, but he applies devil magic to that? Or were those hands that came in, were those specifically his powers from being a devil? Someone that can channel devil power, I should say. Not sure. Interested to find out. Again, that imp creature, I want to know if that's a real thing or just part of its magic, Nox magic. I kind of hope it's one of these sentient creatures, because they always add a little bit of flavor. And I could see this character coming off real serious, and this imp just basically being a whack job. Or maybe, we don't really know this character's personality yet. So that's something else that I am really interested to see blossom. I mean, granted, they literally are in 1 chapter so far and just unveiled themselves in the last 2 panels. So I'm not trying to get too far ahead of myself here. Other thoughts this chapter, we kind of looked more at Gray's power. Dr. Owen specifically took a look at Guash's wounds and was like, whoa, this, he's totally healed at almost like at a molecular level, and kind of putting the seed in Gray's mind and our minds that maybe her power isn't transformation. Maybe it's like a transfiguration kind of thing, which creates a lot of interesting ideas for her character going forward, because I always felt like she was probably the least interesting out of all the characters on the Black Bulls, and I don't think that's a hot take. But I want to see where that goes. I hope that goes where my mind, where I think it's going to go, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. Because then, she could do all kinds of things. She could just start turning into Mr. Fantastic, like turning her arms into fucking weapons and whatnot. Minus the elasticity. But maybe she even can do that. If you're talking about straight up transfiguring, who's to say you can't turn your arm into rubber or plastic or, elastic? That has a lot of potential. I want to see where that goes. Yami's sword, it was interesting to see it appear out of Asta's grimoire with kind of like that rust look that all his other weapons have. And I wonder if that is I guess it's got to be Yami's sword, right? Like, what else? That would be kind of silly for it to be a random new sword. But I wonder if we're going to get more Yami backstory. Like, maybe that sword, there's a reason why that would go in the Grimoire other than that it meant something to Senku. That's something that's really, I want to see explained. Like, if that's not explained, or at least we get some kind of recourse on that, it's going to be kind of bother me. But for now, I'm super into it. I want to see him use it again. Does it have anti-magic abilities? Is it just dark, powers? Now, Asta can use dark magic, but only with this Yami katana. I guess we're going to find out. I'm assuming he's going to train with this Noct character, and we actually saw Asta cry in this chapter for the first time, and probably since his injury with his arms, where he kind of cried and then kicked himself in the ass and tried to, I'm going to do this without arms if I have to, that whole speech. Or it might even have been the part where he finds out that everyone was going out of their way behind his back to help him. I think might have been the only other time that comes to mind. Other thoughts, I think that some of these characters that were staying out of this war are now going to be in the war. And I'm curious to see, like, how they're going to have a training arc in the middle of all this. Like, it's not like Naruto where you can kind of go into, like, this pocket dimension. Like, it's towards the end of Shippuden, and they try to hide him in there. Or, like, Dragon Ball Z is, like, the go-to answer with this, with the hyperbolic time chamber. What are they going to do? I'm not sure. Is this war going to literally be put on hold? Are the rest of, like, the fodder characters and, like, the lesser characters going to basically be in the front lines while Asta and a few of the more powerful characters like Noelle, Mimosa, the Magnas and Zoras of the manga that we haven't even seen yet since the 6-month jump, power up? I'm not sure what the game plan is, and that's got me thinking. So, very good chapter, but still got beat up by 4 other series this week, so what does that tell you? So going into number 4 for this week, Dr. Stone, chapter 162, Down the Earth-Stained Path. And this was a very good chapter. This just barely squeaked out, by a smidge, Black Clover. Specifically because I liked how in this chapter Inagaki took us from, like, one point to another point. The flow of it was really well done. There was, we kind of went from Taiju to Carlos to Ryusui, to Ukyo. Like, basically everything fit together really well. We started the chapter with this incredible color page, with Chrome and Senku and Kohaku just juxtaposed in front of this drill going through the earth behind them. Really cool stuff. We also had Kaseki complete the drill, and Taiju then, of course, delivered it with the help of Carlos, who we'd been told previously was a driver, and Taiju, a really good gag in this chapter, how he never got his license, and he's like crashing into every tree like a ping pong ball, and Carlos is just like, whoa, let me drive. And, Carlos, even has a thought in his head, like, why am I helping the enemy? Why am I driving their car? And, right after that, he gets captured, essentially. They tie him to a tree while they talk about this drill. And then they, Chrome literally builds it right there. He takes apart the drone, which I didn't notice this on my original reading, but Taiju brought that with him in the car, and Chrome takes that apart and uses the fan for ventilation in the tunnel. End result, they build the drill, and Taiju's going in there like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall with those massive drills, and, many other sci-fi series, of course. Let's not even get ourselves here. But really satisfying chapter, where we're just seeing all the pieces kind of drop into place here. One thing we didn't get, though, I'm still waiting for it, is this turkey leg eating woman's name, but Xenon's crew wasn't really featured this chapter. I mean, we got Carlos and a little bit of Luna before Taiju left, saying like, oh, make sure you keep Senku safe. But we didn't get Xeno proper, or Stanley, or Mr. Brody, or any of them. So maybe next chapter. They make a note in this chapter specifically about how they can make all the noise with the drill, because Xeno's factory is running at full tilt and making a real racket. That's not good. I mean, it's good for them in the sense that they can then use this drill unimposed, but that means whatever Xeno's building, or Mr. Brody specifically, you better watch out, guys. I would, keep that knowledge that this guy's going into overdrive with his factory, that you can't rest easy. You can't stay on your laurels. Interested to see what happens next. If we saw the drill working, I feel like we're either going to go to Xeno, or we're just going to see the continuation of this tunnel being built. And beyond that, I don't really have a ton of predictions. Really enjoyed this one. Moving on to number 3 this week. I've got Chainsaw Man, Chapter 81 here, number at the 3rd slot. Chapter 81, Paw. Again, another 9. We basically, the bottom 3 series this week's were 9s, and the top 2 were 10s. So a very good week in the Shonen Jump properties, at least that I read. I don't know if everything else sucked. I hope it didn't. I hope you guys had a good time. And what do we, this chapter was interesting. We continued that whole apartment scene where last chapter, Denji was basically like pouring himself out to Makima, saying how he wanted to be one of her dogs, after the whole Aki incident in 79. And then we get kind of hit with this whole power thing, where Power's at the door, and he's walking to the door, and he has like a premonition or something, thinking about, Power's going to be on the other end of the door. She's going to blow a party popper. She's going to have my cake because tomorrow's my birthday. And Denji even kind of says to himself, why am I thinking that? Why would I think that? And he's like, oh, yeah, my birthday's tomorrow. And we even see, literally, that's what happened. I mean, no party popper, so he was wrong in that case. But, Power comes in with the cake. And happy 17th birthday, Denji, which, again, I tend to forget he's only 16, I guess now 17, because they've been... I like this series a lot, but let's think about that for a second. Let's go back to some of those other chapters. Hey, whatever. I guess that's just Japan. What can I say? However, Makima comes up behind Denji, who she basically coaxes open the door, and I wonder why that is, other than to make him feel worse about what happens to Power, and essentially ray guns her. Saying bang, which I don't know if that was for flavor or if that's part of the power she was using. And basically took, this portion of Power's body out and left, like, basically her legs and her waist and her head separated. And there's a huge impact crater on the wall behind her, covered in blood. So maybe that blood is enough. She has a blood fiend power to come back from that. But as far as Denji's concerned, she's dead. He just witnessed her death. I don't know if someone else is going to come in and save Power. If she's legitimately dead, I'll be very surprised and kind of upset, to be honest. Because the way that read to me was that was just so sudden and out of nowhere that there's more to it than we're seeing. But maybe I'm wrong. I hope that's the case. Will Denji fight Makima after seeing this, or is he already under her control, or is he too meek? Could be any one of those options. 82 is going to be very interesting. And another character that we might see this chapter in the next chapter is Kishibe. He hasn't been around in a hot minute. The last time he was in the story that I recall was with Quan Chi and her girls, and he was trying to make a deal with them to help him take out Makima. And I want to say that guy with like the winter coat, that Japanese high school dude, I forget his name, one of the only guys that survived that arc. I think he might have also been there when they were talking about that, so maybe he could be one of the people to come in. But if anyone's coming in to help Denji out, if shit continues to go south, I think that's who we're gonna get, or a character that we haven't met yet. It's gotta be one or the other. But 82 is gonna be incredible no matter what happens. Coming in at number 2 this week is My Hero Academia, Chapter 281 Plus Ultra. Now, this was close, I got to admit. When I first read One Piece in the beginning of the week, I was kind of like, nothing's going to top this. And nothing did. But, when I said that, Dr. Stone and Black Clover are like this, let's even, let's get this up here. One Piece and My Hero were like, not, like less, put it that way. And I'll go into why One Piece did still take the crown this week in a moment. But let's talk about My Hero briefly here. Plus Ultra. The title alone already had my mind racing. And we found out that was referring to Shigaraki. Maybe End of Art to an extent. Maybe Midoriya to an extent. But clearly Shigaraki being depowered by Eraser the entire time, but still putting up a hell of a fight. This guy is just pure power at this point. The elbow to Deku's stomach and blood just spurting out of his mouth. Deku holding on with that black whip power that he has been using lately, starting to perfect a little bit. And we ended that chapter with him holding down Shigaraki, and Endeavor coming in with like a lariat, clothesline from hell, essentially, full power attack. And I think that Shigaraki's getting out of this, and Midoriya might be taking a fire fist to the face, because I don't see how he dodges this shit unless Endeavor changes course at the last possible second. But I don't know about that. Shigaraki had the bullets. He pulled it out of his pants pocket, and he had it in his hand. And when he kind of punched through Ryuku's, essentially, hand, dragon hand, he kind of had like his hand like limply hanging outside of it. And he goes like this with one of them. And I'm assuming just due to his strength, that is going to hit either a Manuel or a Racer. And it really just depends on what Horikoshi wants to do. Does he want to create a temporary problem for Shigaraki? And all the other characters, really, when you break it down, by hitting Manuel, who then can't spray the water. Eraser has to blink, and there's going to be some recovery time. His eyes are not going to suddenly be okay, and use that to his advantage. Or actually hit Eraser, eliminate his power, and now we have a bigger problem, because Eraser just has been pivotal to every major battle in this series up until this point. And the whole situation with Eri, where now if he can't cause her to revert, that's really bad. I guess the only saving grace of that, like let's say he does get hit, is that then we're going to have to speed up that Eri storyline a little bit, because if she can't revert due to Eraser's help, she's going to have to get really good at that quirk real fast. And also they're going to probably want to find the cure faster in the story to get Eraser back into it. Unless he's just sidelined for a while, like Lemillion. But I think Manuel's going to either get hit or step in the way of the bullet, like realize what's going on, thinking Eraser's more important than I am in the scheme of things, taking a literal bullet for Eraser, and still, Shigaraki gets his power back just enough in time to dodge Endeavor's attack, which then I'm thinking hits Midoriya, knocks the fuck out of him, and Shigaraki, he will not be able to steal One for All, I don't think, even though that is his plan. I don't think he's successful in that, but he gets away, gets his powers, and I don't know if he escapes, totally destroys somebody, could be even Endeavor could get totally destroyed here, or he just skedaddles, or, maybe they do defeat him, maybe not this chapter, but then the one after, 282 or 283, and, my running theory is Gigantomachia will come in and save him, and the League of Villains will get him out of Dodge, but we'll see. Other thoughts? Gran Torino, is he dead or alive? I don't know how I didn't lead with that, but goddamn, he wasn't getting decayed, but he was getting punched through the chest by Shigaraki, and, we had those death flags, basically 2 pages of him flashing back to Shimono, All Might's former teacher. And that's not looking good for Gran Torino. I could see one more scene, kind of like Night Eye, where he's in the hospital bed and we have a scene there and he passes away, or he could die right there. I mean, maybe Midoriya goes up to him and he gets like final words from Midoriya. Gran Torino realizing that maybe they made a mistake, giving away her son and all that animosity that created in him, and then he took it out on Shigaraki, Tomura. I don't know. Gran Torino's feeling like he fucked up, and he, at the time, thought they were doing the right thing. Clearly, things are not going too well with this situation, and I'm really interested to see what 282 brings us. And finally, number 1 of this week, One Piece 988, Sorry for the Wait. Where do I even start? This chapter had banger after banger after banger scene. Well, at that final scene, let's just start with it, with Frankie and Brooke. I've been talking for weeks about how Frankie and Brooke just disappeared. We haven't heard from them since they got to Onigashima and fucking rode off. And they came back in a big way, running over Big Mom's face. And I've heard, through the One Piece podcast and some fan translation that final line might change. In the actual manga, it says something along the lines like, did I hear some girls cry? And in the original, it made a comment like, when he was running over Big Mom, it's not like I ran over a flower. Whatever. Either translation is fine with me. I just wanted to comment on that. The point is, Frankie came in a big way, and let's not forget Brooke cutting Zeus in half, as he essentially is just betraying Nami again, because I guess he doesn't want to be destroyed by his creator, by Big Mom. And we have this great comedy with Nami and Zeus that I personally really appreciate. And Nami Nami calling Frankie big bro. I wonder if that's going to be a theme. And Frankie, again, just proving that he is an amazing character and is not afraid of Big Mom in the least. I'm waiting to see this. We're going to get Straw Hats versus Big Mom. Fucking bring it on, right? Jinbei and Robin are still there, I guess, but we haven't seen them in a few chapters. It's possible they left the area, but they were there waiting to see what happened with Momo, and we also found that out this chapter. Shinobu goes up there to try to save him, and she gets caught and, whipped like a baseball by King. But just in that time period, Sanji, Soba Mask here, comes in, breaks the chains, grabs Momo, and starts fucking skedaddling out of there. And then, of course, King interferes, and Sanji reveals himself, stopping King's kick. And I like this a lot. Are we going to get King versus Sanji? Clearly, that's what Oda's setting up here, because King then goes into his dinosaur form and torpedoes Sanji into a wall, but not before he turns to Momo. He chucks Momo to Shinobu, and he goes like, "That was awesome, dropping your name like a man." And, confidence boost for Momo, because he needs it, because he's been taking a beating physically and mentally for the last several chapters now. Last, 10 or 20 chapters. We also saw a scene with Luffy telling Yamato, who has been scuffling with Ulti up until this point on and off, hey, Yamato, go help Shinobu, go save Momo. And he's like, whoa, I can just do that? And he's like, yeah, why not? And Yamato was like, oh yeah, of course I'll save him. He's my son, playing up that whole Odin angle. So I like that. I want to see where that goes. And Big Mom, of course, going after Luffy, using that Koku sovereignty attack that she had used once or twice in Whole Cake. Misses again. This thing can never hit anybody, but I guess they'd just be turned into fucking paste if it did. And then she went and took Zeus and got taken out by Frankie and Brooke. I did see a few people online, specifically Roger's base, saying that he thinks that she is going to get amnesia again. And, well, I think that's a valid concern, because I didn't particularly love that plot line either. I know Roger didn't, and I'm sure many others did not. All that stuff in the prison was so good that it kind of washed off my shoulders and down my back. And, if we go back to it, I would kind of hate that personally. I think this is more so they fucking hit Big Mom in the face with the back end of her motorcycle, and Frankie fucking burned rubber on her nose a little bit, and she's not gonna be happy. I don't think she's gonna revert back to Olin and start stomping the Animal Kingdom pirates into dust. I don't think that's gonna happen. If it does, just for the sake of argument, I think Paris Paro is going to feed into that, because he does not want the alliance to happen, because we saw them, it was either this chapter or the one prior, Paris Paro and Marco were arriving together. They looked like they were in good condition, so maybe they talked it out. Or she is just still against it, and then I don't know what Paris Paro does. He tries to go behind the scenes. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I guess if she does get amnesia and he shows up, the story kind of makes sense that way, but I'm still against that idea. I don't think that's what's happening, but we gotta wait another week to find out either way. How could I forget the Sulong? Been waiting years for Sulong, and we didn't get everybody. We didn't get Dogstorm or Cat Viper. I guess we should have kind of anticipated that. This arc still has a ways to go. But Jack entered the fray, so we might get a little revenge there. We had all the Musketeers transform. We had that gorilla dude that I wanted to see. I think his name is BB. And the Ox guy, Rodney, which, remember, Luffy fought. I don't remember if it was in the manga, but definitely in the anime when he first got to Zhao, or Zoe. But pretty cool stuff. I want to see what happens with that. I was a little disappointed they cut away, but there was just fucking, again, scene after scene after scene after scene of just amazing shit happening on panel. My personal favorite chapter in many weeks. And that's probably saying something. Final thoughts of the chapter. The Pound and Lola Chiffon storyline actually continued. I guess we never got that final chapter note there, and I kind of love this, how they left, and we got that great gag where Pound screamed and got, the Enel face, the Eneru face that his daughters had gotten when he said, "I'm your pops." And they were like, see ya, pal. And you saw Pez in that speech bubble, like, hey. And then in this chapter, you see them, swimming away, and you see the speech bubble coming from the ship as Pound is butterfly swimming towards the boat. And you see Lola and Chiffon looking shocked, and Pez like, woo, hey, Grandpa. So I kind of like that, and I want to see them reunited in this cover story. I want it to end on a happy note. And another thing of note there is that I guess Lola's crew, the Rolling Pirates, have now just joined Capone's crew. Fuck it, right? Like, who cares now at this point? Because, why not? Let's get the Risky Brothers in the final confrontation at the end of the series when all these other characters meet up again. At least that's my thought. That's maybe for a different video. So yeah, 988. Sorry for the wait. The winner of this week, the champion of 823, the week of 823, and next week, or rather this week, I should say, coming up, we're going into. There's no One Piece, so I'm only looking at probably 4 series here. Maybe someone will move up in the rankings. Or, I think something new just came out. Maybe I'll read that on camera. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how busy I get this week. And until then, I'll give you one more quick rundown of what I just said. Number 5, Black Clover. Number 4, Dr. Stone. Number 3, Chainsaw Man this week. Number 2, My Hero Academia. And number 1, One Piece. I will see you in the next video and next week for another stacking manga. But until then, have a great day.